Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone. So, we're going to be back with the Bible reading. And this chapter 24, is way longer than I was going to be expecting. I actually just read it and I was kind of like thinking of writing down some notes. But, oh, that was a lot more reading than I was expecting it. But other than that, the drill. Like, share, and subscribe. Reading the NLT version. Let's get started with Genesis chapter 4. Abraham was now a very old man, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. One day Abraham said to the oldest servant, the man in charge of the household, take an oath and put it on your hand under my thigh. Swear to the Lord, the God of heaven and earth, that you will not allow my son to marry these local Canaanite women, and go instead to my homeland, to my relatives, and find a wife there for my son Isaac. The servant asked, what if I can't find a young woman that is willing to travel so far from home? Should I then take Isaac there to live among your relatives the land in the land you came from? No, Abraham responded. Be careful, never take my son there. For the Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and native land, solemnly swear to give this land to my descendants. He will send an angel ahead. He will see that you will find a wife for my son. If she's unwilling to come back with you, then feel free to. Then you are free from my oath of mine. But under no circumstance, if you are willing to take my son there. So the servant took the oath and put it under his hand, under the thigh of his master Abraham. He swore to follow Abraham's instructions. Then he loaded 10 of Abraham's camel and all kinds of expensive gifts from his master. Then he traveled the distance to Amara Nirama. There he went down to the town of Abraham's brother Nara had settled. He made the camels kneel beside a well just outside of town. In the evening, the woman came out to draw water. O Lord, God of my master Abraham, he prayed, please give me a success day, and I will and show unfailing love to my master Abraham. See, I am standing here beside the spring, and the young women of this town are coming out to draw water. This is my request. I will ask one of them, please give me a drink from your jug. If she says yes, have a drink, and I will water your camels too. Let let her be the one you have selected as Isaac's wife. This is how I will know you have shown unfailing love to my master. Before he had finished his prayer, he saw the young woman named Rebecca coming out, and her jug on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethel, who was the son of Abraham's brother Nahor and his wife Michal. Rebecca was a beautiful and old enough to be married, but she was still a virgin. She went down to the spring, filled her jug, and came up again, running over to her. The servant said, please give me a drink of your water from your jug. Yes, my lord, she answered. Have a drink. And she quickly lowered her jug from her shoulder and gave a drink. When when she had given the drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels too, until they have enough to drink. She so she went quickly, emptied her jug into the watering tur, and ran back to the well to draw water for his camels. The servant watched in silence, wondering whether or not the Lord had given him a success in his mission. Then, at last, when the camels had finished drinking, he took out the golden ring for her nose and two golden bracelets for her wrists. Whose daughter are you? He asked. And please tell me, would your father have any room to put us up for tonight? For the night. I am the daughter of Bethel, she replied. My grandparents are Nero and Machio. Yes, we have plenty of straw and feed for the camels, and we have rooms for guests. The man bowed low, and worship the Lord. The God of my master Abraham. He said, the Lord has shown me unfailing love and faithfulness to my master, for he has led me straight to my master's relatives. The young woman ran home to tell her family everything of what happened. Now Rebekah, her brother, named Laman, had ran out to meet the man in the spring. He had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his wrist, on her sister's wrist, and had heard Rebekah tell that the man of what the man had said. He rushed out to the spring where the man was standing beside the camels. Bethel said, Bethel said, said to him, come and stay with us. You are blessed by the Lord. Why are you standing out here outside of town when we have a room all ready for you, a place to prepare for your camels? So the man went home with Laman, and Laman unloaded the camels and gave him straw for the bedding, feed them, and provided water for the men and the camel drivers to wash their feet. The food was served, but Abraham's servant said, I don't want to eat till I have told you why I have come here. All right? Laban said, tell us. I am Abraham's servant, he explained. And the Lord has greatly blessed my master. He had become a wealthy man, and the Lord had given him flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle, and fortune in silver and gold, and many male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. When Sarah, my master's wife, was very old, she gave birth to my master's son, and my master had given him everything he owns. And my master made me take an oath. He said, do not allow my son to marry one of the local Canaanite women. Go instead to my father's house, to my relatives, and find a wife there for my son. But I had said to my master, what if I can't find a young woman that's willing to go back with me? He responded to the Lord, in whose presence I have lived, will send an angel with you and make your mission successful. Yes, you must find a wife for my son, for among my relatives, from my father's family. Then you will have a fulfillment obligate. You have fulfilled your obligation. But if you go to my relatives and they refuse to let her go with you, you will be free from my oath. So today I came to the spring and prayed this prayer. O Lord, God of my master Abraham, please give me success on my mission. See, I was standing beside the spring. This was my request. When a young woman comes to draw water, I will say to her, please give me a little drink of water from your jug. If she says yes, have a drink, I will draw water for your camels too. Let her be the one you have selected to be the wife of my master's son. Before he had finished praying in his heart, he saw Rebekah coming out with a water jug on her shoulder. She went down to the spring, drew water. So I said to her, please give me a drink. She quickly lowered her jug from her shoulder and said, yes, have a drink, and I will water your camels too. So I drank, and then she watered the camels. And then I asked, whose daughter are you? She replied, I am the daughter of Bethel, and my grandparents are Noro and Michigan. So I had pulled the ring on her nose. So I had put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrists. That then I bowed low and worshipped the Lord. I praised the Lord and the God of my master Abraham, because he had led me straight to my master's niece and to be his son's wife. So tell me, will you or won't you show unfailing love and faithfulness to my master? Please tell me yes or no, and then I'll know what to do next. Then Absalom and Bethel replied, the Lord has obviously brought you here, so there is nothing we can say. Here is Rebecca, take her and go. Yes, let her be the wife of the master's son. as the Lord had directed. When Abraham's servant heard their answer, he bowed down his head to the ground and worshipped the Lord. Then he brought out silver and gold jewelry and clothes and presented them to Rebekah. He also gave expensive gifts to her brother and mother. Then they ate their meal, and the servant and the man with him stayed there overnight. But early the next morning, Abraham's servant said, "Send me back to my master, but we want Rebekah to stay with us at least 10 days." Her brother and mother said, "Then she can go." But he said, "Do not delay. The Lord has made my mission successful. Now send me back where I can return to my master." Well, they said, "We'll call Rebekah and ask what she thinks." So they called Rebekah. "Are you willing to go with this man?" They answered her, and she replied, "Yes, I will go." So they said their goodbye to Rebekah and sent her on her way to with Abraham's servant and his men. The woman who has been Rebekah's childhood nurse went along with her. They gave her their blessing as she parted. "Our sister, you may become the mother of many millions. May your descendants be strong and conquered cities of their enemies." Then Rebekah and her servant girls mounted the camels and followed the man. So Abraham followed the man. So Abraham's servant took Rebekah and went on his way. Meanwhile, Isaac, whose home was in Nav, had returned from Bir Eloroi. One, one evening, as he was walking and meditating in the fields, he looked up and saw the camels coming. When Rebekah looked up and saw Isaac, she quickly dismounted from her camel. "Who is that man walking through the field to meet us?" she asked the servant, and he replied, "It is my master." So Rebekah covered her face with a veil. Then the servant told Isaac everything he has done. And Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother Sarah's tent and became his wife. He loved her deeply, and she was very special. She was very special comfort to him after his the death of his mother. Whew. Abraham married another woman whose name was Keturah. She birthed him Zimra, Joshan, Metala, Midelin, Ishkalaba, and Shulah. Joksha was the father of Sheba and Denia, Dena. Denia's descendants were the Esrolites, Lebatulshalites, Lamlamalites. Minea's sons were Eph, Ephora, Epha, Ephor, Honat, Abala, Idla. Those were all the descendants of Abraham through Krela, Keturah. Abraham gave everything he owned to his son Isaac, but before he died, he gave gifts to his son of his concubine and sent them off to the land in the east. Away from Isaac, Abraham lived 175 years, and he died at the ripe old age. He had lived a long and satisfying life. He had breathed his last, enjoying his ancestors in death. His sons Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machirfla near Mamre in the field of Ephorah, son of Zorah the Hittite. This is the field where Abraham had purchased from the Hittites, and where he had buried his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who had settled near Bir Iramaria in the Negev. This is the account of the family of Ishmael, the son of Abraham, through Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian servant. Here is the list by their name and clan of Ishmael's descendants. The oldest was Nebuliath, follower of Kedar, Ebila, Mibasham, Mibasama, Misuma, Duma, Mashima, Hamada, Dema, Jator, Napishi, and Kemadama. These 12 sons of Ishmael became the founder of 12 tribes named after him, listed according to the places they have settled in camp. Ishmael lived for 137 years, and he had breath his last and joined his ancestors in death. Ishmael's ancestors occupied the region of Havilah to Sur, which is east of Egypt in the direction of Ashmur. There he had lived. Whoop, what happened? Oh, he had lived in open hostility towards another relatives. This is the account of the family of Isaac, son of Abraham. Sorry about that. My phone did something. When Isaac was 40 years old, he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethel, the Arman from Padam Amur, and the sister of Lamana, the Amurim. Isaac pleaded with the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was unable to have children. The Lord answered Isaac's prayer, and Rebekah became pregnant with twins. But the two children struggled with each other in the womb. So she went up and asked the Lord about it. Why is this happening to me? She asked. The Lord told her, the sons in your womb will become two nations. From the beginning, the two nations will be rivals. One nation will be stronger than the other. Your older son will serve your younger son. And when the time came to give birth, Rebecca discovered that have she did indeed had twins. The first one was very red at birth and covered in a thick hair like a fur coat, so he named him Isha, Isu. Then the other was born, and with a hand grasping Isha's heel, so he named him Jacob. Isaac was 6 years old when the twins were born. As the boys grew up, Ishlam became a very skillful hunter. He became an outdoorsman, but Jacob was quiet-tempered, preferred to stay at home. Isaac loved Ishlam because he enjoyed eating the wild game Ishlam brought home, but Rebekah loved Jacob. One day when Jacob was cooking some stew, Ishlam arrived home from the wilderness, exhausted and hungry. Ishlam said, I'm starved. Give me some red stew. This is how Ishlam got the other name, Edom, which means red. All right, Jacob replied, but trade me your rights as the firstborn son. Look, I'm dying of starvation, said Ishmael. What good will a birthright? What good is my birthright to me now? But Jacob said, first you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Ishmael swore that oath, thereby selling his right as the firstborn of his brother Jacob to his brother Jacob. Then Jacob gave Ishmael some bread and lent stew. Ishmael ate the meal. Then he got up and left. He showed contempt of his rights as the firstborn. A severe famine now struck the land and has happened before in Abraham's time. So Isaac moved from Gemir, where Abimelech, king of the Philistines, lived. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, do not go down to Egypt, but do as I tell you. Live here as a foreigner in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. And I hereby confirm that I will give you these lands to you and your descendants, just I solemnly promise. Abraham your father. I will cause your descendants to become numerous of the stars in the sky, and I will give them all these lands, and through your descendants all the nations on the earth will be blessed. I will do it because Abraham listened to me, obeyed my requirements, commands, decrees, and instructions. So Isaac stayed in Gilead. When the man who lived there asked Isaac about his wife Rebekah, he said, "She is my sister." He was afraid to say that she is my wife. He thought they would kill me to get to her because she is very beautiful. But sometime later, Ishmael, the king of the Philistines, looked out his window and saw Isaac caressing Rebekah. Immediately, Ishmael called for Isaac and exclaimed, "She's obviously your wife. Why did you say she is my sister?" "Because I was afraid someone would kill me to get to her for me," Isaac replied. "How could you do this to us?" Abimelech reclaimed. "One of those people might have easily taken your wife and slept with her, and would have made us guilty with great sin." Then Ishmael issued a public proclaim, "Anyone who touches this man or his wife will be put to death." When Isaac planted his crops that year, he harvested 100 times more grain than he had planted, for the Lord had blessed him. He became a very he became very rich man, and his wealth continued to grow. He acquired many flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle, and servants that the Philistines became jealous of him. So the Philistines filled up all of Isaac's wells with dirt. These were the wells that had been dug up by the servants of his father, Abraham. Finally, Ishmael ordered Isaac to leave this country. "Go somewhere else," he said, "for you have become too powerful for us." So Isaac moved away to Gilead Valley, where he set up tents and settled down. He reopened the wells his father had dug, which the Philistines had filled in after Abraham's death. Isaac also restored the name of Abraham had given to him. Isaac's servants also dug in the Gilead Valley and discovered a well with fresh water. But the shepherds in Gilead came and claimed the spring. "This is our water," they said, and argued over it with Isaac's herdsmen. So Isaac named the well Ita, argument, which means argument. Isaac's men then dug another well, but again there was a dispute over it. So Isaac named it Sitnah, hostility, abandoning that one. Isaac moved on and dug another well. This time there was no dispute over it, so Isaac named this place Rebuth, open space, which means open space. For he has said, as at last the Lord has created enough space for us to prosper in this land. From there Isaac moved to Beersheba, where the Lord had appeared to him on that night of his arrival. I am the God of your father Abraham," he said. "Do not be afraid, for I am with you and will bless you. I will multiply your descendants, and they will become a great nation. I will do this because of the promise to Abraham, my servant." Then Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. He set up a camp at the place, and his servants dug another well. One day, King Abimelech came to Gilead, where with his advisors, Ismath and Philico, his army commander. "Why have you come here?" Isaac asked. "You obviously hate me since you kicked me off the land." They replied, "We could plainly see that the Lord is with you, so we wanted to enter with the sworn treaty with you. Let us make a covenant Swear that you will not harm us, just as we have never troubled you. We have always treated you well, and we will send you away from us in peace. And now look how the Lord has blessed you." So Abraham prepared a covenant feast to celebrate the treaty. They ate and drank together. Early the next morning, they each took a solemn oath to not interfere with each other. Then Isaac sent him home again and left in peace. That very day, Isaac's servants came and dug, and had told him that a new well had dug. "We found water," they exclaimed. So Isaac named the well Ishlaba, which means oath. And the day and this day the town grew there and called it Birshama, which means well of truth. At that at the age of 40, Ismail married two Hittite wives, Judith the daughter of Beri, and Bethel the daughter of Elah. But Ishmael's wives made his life miserable for Isaac and Rebekah. Oh, that was much longer reading than I was expecting that time. Oh, but looks like Isaac is gonna have a lot more. It looks like Isaac and Rebekah are gonna have a lot more, but looks like in this section, God is really blessing this family. He is really keeping his promise to them with this covenant. And you kind of see how the other nations are kind of looking at this and kind of being jealous that God is basically treating these people. Well, these people are going to eventually become the Israelites, from what I've recalled, because I believe that is Jacob's second name, which is Israel. But man, that was a lot more reading than I was expecting it today. But let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, from what we saw, you can kind of see that God still keeps promises in each way. I mean, Rebecca was found that way. The servant basically wanted God's promise to be successful. That's the only way Rebecca pretty much came to. That's actually a pretty bad example now that I actually explain it. This is mostly just like history going on between the families from like Isaac right now, going on to pretty much Isaac. And it looks like Isaac is going to have a lot more to deal with, especially with that final verse, which means that the wives are pretty much making Isaac and Rebecca miserable. But other than that, you can kind of see how powerful God wanted to make the descendants. That even though it's only the second generation, we're already on Isaac, and the king is already jealous that they're pretty much too powerful at this rate, which kind of shows that God's pretty much on promise and how he is willing to multiply everything almost tenfold, which is something that I recently learned is that God will, if you follow God and do what he tells you to do, he will multiply your blessings by tenfold or sevenfold. And you can kind of see right here, Abraham made a promise years ago to God. They made a covenant, and now here we are with Isaac in his 60s, and he's already grown his basically little hometown, or like sort of household, has already grown to a big village, and is already making the king nearby jealous, to the point where they're basically scared that one day Isaac is just going to overcome and take over. It's just going to take over his kingdom. Yeah, so that's one thing that I would take out of all of this, is that regardless of what people think, God will always bless those, and he will bless them tenfold like he did with Isaac. Already at the point of already at the point where he could pretty much take over a kingdom. But the king in this seems to be a really chill dude. Doesn't seem to be have any hostility towards Abraham. The only thing he doesn't like is the fact that Abraham and his son Isaac are doing the same thing, which is saying that this is my sister, and he doesn't want none of his citizens to do anything wrong with that, or God is going to pretty much punish him, the king, and his whole city. So, but let me see what else I can see. But other than that, I kind of don't really see the quote unquote evil God that people keep exclaiming on TikTok. Like, up to this point, we're pretty much halfway done in Genesis. We're pretty much halfway done on Genesis, and I'm still yet to see this quote unquote evil God. Because most of the quote unquote evilness happening going on in the Bible tends to be from man, and it seems to be that God is the only one that's bringing them to righteousness. Yeah, it might not seem with the wives and sort of the daughter thing going on with Lot, but other than that, it's mostly the people that are doing the evil, while God is pretty much trying to bring people into righteousness in pretty much Genesis. So other than that, I think I'll have more to say tomorrow with the next few chapters. But other than that, thank you all for watching, hearing, whatever it might be, and God bless you all.